Hey everyone, over the last couple weeks, we've gotten a variety of new economic data points. And in a world where good news is bad news and bad news is good news, I guess we have some good news. In general, inflation is still coming down. That's pretty much good news no matter how you cut it. But we're seeing a lot of metrics that suggest the economy is losing momentum. Under normal circumstances, that would not be good. The unemployment rate increased by 20 basis points to 4.3%. Normally, not so good. The ISM Manufacturing Index came in at 46.8, also not good. It's below 50, which means that the manufacturing sector is contracting. But because so many economic metrics are showing signs of weakening, it's putting increased pressure on the Federal Reserve to reduce rates, which for commercial real estate investors is good news. We've been seeing clear downward pressure on the 10-year Treasury rate. And in fact, the 2-year versus 10-year Treasury yield curve uninverted for the first time in more than 2 years. But by the same token, the Psalm rule, another key recession indicator, is teetering on the edge. That metric is literally so close to the edge, the question of whether we cross the line depends on how you measure unemployment. If you calculate it using the published unemployment rate to the 10th percentile, the Psalm rule recession indicator reads 53 basis points, which means yes, we are facing a recession. But if you calculate the unemployment rate to the 100th percentile using the source data, the Psalm rule recession indicator reads 49.34 basis points, which technically means we are not entering a recession. I guess precision matters, ladies and gentlemen. But we've known since the beginning that a soft landing is very difficult, and it will look dangerously similar to a recession, which is where we are. Some readings are coming in soft, which for real estate investors is good, but other readings are still positive, and that's arguably good for real estate investors too. So, while the bump in unemployment to 4.3% is causing some concern and increasing pressure on the Fed to cut rates, we have to consider that we also added 114,000 new jobs in July, taking the year-to-date total employment additions to 1.4 million jobs, a solid pace of hiring. And while the number of first-time unemployment claims has been creeping up, it's still in alignment with its pre-pandemic long-term average. In addition, if you look at the number of layoffs and discharges from the JOLTS report, it's at its lowest level we've seen in 18 months. Normally, when the economy is entering a recession, you see a lot more warning signs in the employment market. We're just not seeing a pileup of bad employment data. And retail sales are still strong. On an inflation-adjusted basis, retail sales are up by 1.2% compared to last year. That's pretty good. So, for commercial real estate investors, it looks like the stars may be aligning. We're still seeing economic durability that will support property fundamentals, but we're also seeing just enough softening in just the right places to push the Fed to reduce rates. And because the 10-year has come down materially, the cost of debt is coming down. And that is reopening the yield spread between cap rates and the cost of capital, which means that the expectation gap between buyers and sellers should be narrowing. Another important positive trend for real estate investors. Of course, as always, something could go wrong, but this whole situation is playing out far better than most anyone had expected. Still, you never know what's around the next corner, which is why investors always need to keep their eyes on the horizon.